What if I told you there's a reason why some guys can walk into a room and instantly arouse women, while others remain completely invisible? It's not looks, it's not money, it's not even status. It's specific behavioral triggers that activate a woman's desire and get her wanting sex. Today, I'm revealing 9 behaviors that trigger a woman's sexual desire at a deep psychological level. And stick around until the end, because I'm going to share one behavior that completely transformed my dating life. It's number 8 on this list, but it's responsible for more sexual connections than all the others combined. These aren't manipulative tricks, they're authentic masculine behaviors that work with female psychology. And the best part, you can start using them immediately after watching this video. Starting with number 1, being assertive and decisive. As an example, choosing the restaurant where you guys are going to go eat on your first date. Telling her what to wear on your first date. You see, this subcommunicates leadership. It subcommunicates dominance. It subcommunicates confidence. A key thing here is a lot of these behaviors I'm going to be going over. The important thing to understand isn't necessarily what the exact example is that I give you. It's what that behavior subcommunicates about you. You see, women are looking at all these different behaviors that you have as cues, as leading indicators of your underlying character traits. Now, we all know that women like a guy who's confident, right? But when you tell a guy, just be confident, that's pretty useless advice. Something that is far more practical is be decisive. Pick that restaurant. Pick the dress she's going to wear out. Hell, pick her food for her if you really know the restaurant and you know the menu and you know what is really good on the menu. But these things subcommunicate certain aspects of your deeper character. And they subcommunicate things which are very attractive. Number 2, the ability to evoke emotions out of her. Think things like laughter. Think things like comfort. Think things like shock. Think things like surprise. Basically, being a bit of a ballsy asshole. You see, there's a reason why assholes tend to get more women than quote-unquote nice guys. And it's not necessarily because women like the asshole. It's because the asshole can actually evoke an emotion out of her. The ability to evoke emotions out of other people, it subcommunicates social intelligence and it subcommunicates emotional intelligence. And both of these things in themselves subcommunicate the ability to network, the ability to attain resources, the ability to climb a social hierarchy. You see how it's layers upon layers. It's a lot deeper than just the surface level action. Obviously, being charming and charismatic and funny is attractive, but you don't have to necessarily be a comedian to evoke emotions out of a woman. All the times, a woman will laugh at something that you say that isn't objectively super funny. It's not like you could get up on a stage at a comedy act and get the whole crowd to laugh at the exact same thing you just said, but she will laugh at it, maybe because it's a bit shocking, maybe because it's surprising, maybe because it conflicts with social norms, maybe because it's ballsy. I'm not saying you should evoke negative emotions, other than just purely being a dickhead. All this other spectrum on the emotional range is useful. Number 3, being non-judgmental. A lot of guys today get really hung up and spurgy about the whole body count thing. And here's where that is biting them in the ass. If you come across as being very judgmental, and this is just one example of being judgmental, like judgmental about a woman's sexual past, judgmental about a woman's body count, for example, right? If you come across as being very judgmental, it's not actually that attractive to her because it implies you'll judge her. If you come across as being the non-judgmental type, however, you are now the person she can be her slutty self with. Now, this is obviously an example I'm talking about specifically about sexually judging women, right? The mistake a lot of guys make is they might bring up the topic of body count, they might talk about these kind of things on a date or an interaction with a woman. But if you're the guy who feigns disinterest about a woman's body count or about slutty behaviors in general, or you just don't bring it up, you subcommunicate that you're a non-judgmental person. This communicates to her that she can actually have sex with you without the fear of being made to feel guilty about it. She can have sex with you without social consequences. That is fundamentally what we're communicating here by being a non-judgmental guy. And this is extremely powerful, and it lets a lot of women open up to you in a sexual way. Number 4, assuming the sale. Being a bit of a cocky bastard. Saying something to the effect of, I knew we were going to get along. Or if you catch her giggling and smiling at you, cut her off and say something like, excuse me, ma'am, I am not just a sausage with feet. My eyes are up here. You see what I'm communicating in these 2 examples, right? We're communicating that I was confident from day one that we were going to get along great. And I'm also communicating that she's being a sexual aggressor, right? These are just just two random examples. Assuming success here. It's a cocky trait, but it's a confident trait. In addition to obviously subcommunicating confidence, it subcommunicates experience with women, which subcommunicates pre-selection, that you're pre-selected by other women, that you've had other women be attracted to you before because you're picking up on these cues. Whether they're actually real cues or not, that's the funny thing. This can kind of tie into that previous point we talked about evoking an emotion out of her. You're doing two things simultaneously with these couple of examples that I just gave. Number 5, mystery. You don't have to tell her every single little detail about you all at once. Every single little detail about your history, about your childhood, about your adulthood, about your job, about your hobbies. You can leave some room for interpretation. You can deliberately be vague sometimes, in fact. And this subcommunicates that she doesn't have you figured out yet. And the power of this, she gets to fill the gaps in with her own mind, with her own imagination. A woman's imagination can be your best friend a lot of the time. Because here's the real key kicker here. Women are always looking for a reason to disqualify a guy from sexual access, shall we say, from dating her. Men are kind of the opposite way around. Men are always looking for a reason to qualify a woman. Big tits? Great, I'll sleep with her. A fat ass? Great, I'll sleep with her. They'll completely ignore a billion other red flags just because she's pretty. So they'll pick the one thing to qualify her for sex. Women are the other way around. They're looking at a million fantastic traits, and that one red flag, bang, turns her off. So this is why mystery actually helps. Not only does it help you, but it actually helps her get over any insecurity that she might have around, oh, did I pick the right guy? Is he good enough? And you're really alleviating all of the stress that comes with choosing a mate for her. So let her imagination run wild here and there. I'm not saying lie to her, but I am saying you don't have to give her every single little detail about every single aspect of your life. By the way, guys, if you like this video so far, give us a like, give us a subscribe, and check out the link in the description down below where you can get your hands on a free gift I have just for you. Number 6, being emotionally unaffected by her. As we previously stated, it's attractive if you can evoke emotions out of her. However, it is generally unattractive, or not as attractive, if she can evoke emotions out of you very easily. A lot of women will tease a guy and test a guy. Sometimes we refer to this as a shit test, right? The way to pass a shit test, the way to pass her trying to emotionally affect you is to not get butthurt. As an example, she might try to make you jealous. Don't react to it. She might tease you, or she might make some offhanded comment, move past it, like you don't even acknowledge it. Or another way of dealing with these things is you can agree and amplify and make it ridiculous. Underlying subcommunication there is she can't emotionally affect you. And if she can't emotionally affect you, that actually communicates a lot of very powerful, attractive qualities about you. It means you're going to be steady and stable in very dangerous, precarious situations. If you're not emotionally affected so easily, it means you can actually rely on you when shit hits the fan. That's what it really subcommunicates. It also subcommunicates that you don't seek the approval of others, other men or other women. That means that you're a confident guy. It means you're self-assured. And if you're self-assured and you're confident, there must be a reason behind it, right? You must have some competence to back up that confidence. That's what all these things subcommunicate. Well, that's at least what she is subcommunicating and rationalizing in her own mind when you are emotionally unaffected by her behaviors and her statements. Number 7, non-needy persistence, or you could call it patient persistence. So for example, she might turn you away the first time you try to kiss her. Don't get butthurt by it. Cool. It's no big deal. She didn't want to kiss you the first time you tried to kiss her. Cool. Later on in the date, you can try again. You can try again 20, 30 minutes later. Think of it like 2 steps forward, 1 step back. It's okay to be persistent, but you have to be persistent in a socially calibrated way. So you have to be reading her body language and understanding that no means no. And here's the important thing, actually, even more important lesson to take from this, is if she can reject you from a kiss, or sexually even reject you, right? And you're okay with it, and you don't get butthurt, you don't emotionally freak out, you're like, cool, no big deal, let's keep hanging out, it's fine. That actually allows her to feel safe with you, because she knows now that you're not the kind of guy who is going to push a boundary she sets on. If she can establish a physical boundary, okay, we're not going to do this thing, or do that thing, we're not going to kiss, or we're not going to have sex, or whatever it is, and you're totally chill with it, and you don't freak out, definitely don't get violent, you don't get emotional, any of this stuff, she can now actually trust you to make things go a bit further. And then if she's not comfortable with the pace it's going at, she can say stop, and she knows you'll respect it and you'll stop. This actually makes her feel safe with you. It's very, very powerful, this idea of sort of 2 steps forward, 1 step back when she tells you to. It subcommunicates patience, subcommunicates confidence, like I said, subcommunicates that she can feel safe with you. And in itself, all these things actually also subcommunicate, again, pre-selection, because a guy who is not needy in regards to sex or attention from women is generally a guy who already has attention from women or has had success with women in the past. Number 8, you're comfortable breaking the physical touch barrier. Something like, lightly touching her arm, lightly touching her leg, hugging her when you're first meeting her, walking her into the restaurant with your hand on her lower back, or walking her into the restaurant arm in arm. And here's a really, really powerful example that I use all the time on dates, and every single guy I have taught this to, no matter how successful with women they were in the past, they've seen massive results with. And it's really simple. When you're sitting, chatting, having drinks, or whatever, sit yourself next to each other, not across from each other, but next to each other, so your legs are just subtly resting against each other and touching. So there's physical contact there with your legs, and you're not touching each other any other way. You're not making out, you're not getting gropey with her, you're not subtly touching like her arms with the back of your hand or anything like that. Just having your legs touching whilst you're communicating with each other, that will sexually charge your conversation with a woman like nothing else. Being comfortable with this physical touch barrier in a non-creepy, non-weird way, in a confident way, in a way that you're totally cool with it stopping. There's no neediness there. It communicates dominance, it communicates leadership, and once again, it communicates this idea of pre-selection. It's also very important to note that hesitation for breaking the physical touch barrier with a woman, it indicates a lack of confidence, and hesitation in that regard actually will dilute her interest in you. It'll dilute the intrigue because you want to keep things sexually charged. You want to keep the interaction exciting. When there's no sexual tension at all, things between a man and a woman become very boring, at least on her end. You as the guy might still have sexual interest in her, but you are not confident in breaking that physical touch barrier, so she is not feeling any sexual tension whatsoever. So that sexual tension is only really one way, unfortunately. Now, this leads us to number 9, which is creating sexual tension. I just gave a really good example before, breaking the physical touch barrier, but other things include things like lingering eye contact. If you're able to sit there and hold intense eye contact with maybe a little smile on your face, it starts to build and build and build that sexual tension. Flirting is obviously another way of building sexual tension. Talking about sexual topics in a nonchalant, non-needy, non-creepy way is another great way of doing this. Looking at her like you want to do naughty things to her. Looking at her like a fat kid looks at a piece of cake. This is what can create sexual tension. And primarily, it breaks the possibility of her perceiving this interaction as being platonic. It communicates pretty clearly that there's some sexual intent behind this interaction. You're not here to be friends, you're here to be boyfriend and girlfriend or husband and wife, something more than that, right? If you're confident with building the sexual tension and you're able to create the sexual tension, it communicates confidence, and it also communicates, again, pre-selection. The idea that you've been here before, you've done this with other women before, so you have been pre-selected by other women. See, women want to be sexually desired by a man that she is actually attracted to. That is what makes her aroused. This is what a lot of guys get wrong about showing sexual intent. Women are repulsed by sexual intent from a man she isn't attracted to. But if she actually does have attraction to you, she wants you to show your intent and your desire, because that makes her feel sexy, it appeases her sexual ego, and these things make her aroused.